Welcome back to the FKFPL Review Show right here on KTN News. My name is Robinson Okenya. In studio, I'm with Rogers Shtemi and Cedric Musumba. Now we want to get into the biggest game of match week 11. It was all about the 89th edition of the Mashemeji derby that ended in a barren draw at the Kasarani Stadium. I want to begin with Cedric and taking stock of this. Did you enjoy this barren draw, Cedric?
I might say yes to the fact that actually there was no loser. I think the team shared the spoil, and that's a fair result for either of the side. But if try to assimilate to any other derby that I have ever watched before, this was the most boring derby ever. Why would you say it was the most boring? It was a boring derby simply because there was no fireworks in both ends of the goal. Yes. And again, there was lack of creativities. Yes. Those flairism that we are looking for. The ball could not actually trickle from one space to another in a nice way. Yes. Players actually were not seeing each other, and it seemed as if they were under instruction to go and destroy each other. Yes. The boy actually at the center where creativity should be emanate from, there was there was a lack of creativity at that particular center, for instance. There's no any other derby that has started by yellow card. You could see when the derby just started like this, she changed a picture yellow card simply because of the hard tackle on Miguna. Yes. And the other side, Ernest Wendo, it was like he was under instruction to go and destroy the other creative side, the creative side of FC Leopard. Yes. And also, a derby, a good derby is a derby that registers goals. Or if it doesn't register goals, it's a derby that has got hit in each and every side of the goal. This derby actually was so blunt, at least for the side of goal who actually attempted, and those attempted were so feeble that could not even be threatened. Even if fans were present in the pitch, I don't think if they could have been a voice that carries the player, simply because there was no flairism to carry those fans to the top of their voice. These are kind of a derby. If you ask me, for the people who have really been following derbies and more so Kenyan derby, it's a derby that was fully of lack of creativity, a derby that had no glaring flair that we are looking for, and a derby that actually both of the tacticians should actually be looked into the plan. But, and again, I remember before this particular derby, that was the very, very derby day that yesterday, we talked of it being so boring because both of the team, eight of the team would come here as in being too cautious not to concede, to the extent that neither of the team wanted to lose. Yes. But they needed actually to open up those space so that they can give the creative players at the middle of the way to the space to run those balls and start bringing in those crosses. It is a derby that lacked creativity, that made this particular game so boring to an extent that nothing could be picked. Even if you were to be scout players from this particular derby, there's no player that you could put on the tag that is a good player to be traded to trade either outside or in a top league outside this particular country. Shtemi, do you agree with what Cedric is saying, that this derby was boring? And I tend to think that he's saying this derby was boring just because there were no goals, or probably he felt that FC Leopards should have won.
It was a cage affair. Actually, I was at the stadium and there was nothing to write about this derby, just like what Cedric has said. Yes. But all in all, I think there were some flashes of brilliance from individual players, the likes of Lewis Bandi, the likes of Geoffrey Ochieng, the likes of Alpha Onyango. Yeah, those are a few players, and also Fabrice Mugeni. Yes. They were impressive. Though Gor Mahia should have maybe had something before maybe the halftime, but I think complacency and profligacy in front of goal cost them that chance. Remember, they got, I think, two or three chances consecutively. That is when Muguna dispossessed Sichenje in the area, and maybe lack of reaction allowed him not to shoot, and Sichenje recovered in time to dispossess him. And then there came in another chance for Nicholas Kipkurui, that is via Muguna's lofted pass. But again, Kipkurui was so, I think, lazy or sluggish. He didn't take that chance. That was it. But all in all, I think, like I've said, Lewis was so impressive for me because he made two clearances, very crucial clearance. Once he denied Julius Sulumwengu a goal-bound header. He made a clearance on the line, and then after that, few minutes later, he made a very good clearance to cut off Samuel Onyango's delivery from the left flank.
Cedric Musumba, I remember we were watching this game yesterday together, and you could not stop singing praises to Lewis Bandi.
This is a lad actually who has come, and I think he might have given it all, as Roger says, simply because one, he's a youngster who is out to sell and to market himself.
Yes.
And then two, he was out to enjoy as in the game. You see, if you are given a role to trade and you are given a role holistically from the bottom of your heart just to enjoy, you will as well as shine the same way Lewis Bandi actually did. But remember, also, we should be giving credit to Anthony Modo to having actually debuted him before he made the derby. That actually gave him some psychological strength, simply because a derby comes with some weight. And if not him really being played in the previous 3 matches, maybe this particular derby would have been too heavy to him.
I'll differ with you, Cedric. I think it wasn't a favor for Bandi to get that position for the derby. He deserved it. He proved himself.
We are not talking of favor, Roger. We are talking of advantage of him being played earlier enough.
Hold on. If that is an advantage, then he should have gotten that chance just direct. But here is a situation whereby Bandi came in for the injured Isaac Kipyegon. Then if Kipyegon had recovered, then I think Modo should have just brought in Kipyegon directly. But here it shown that this lad has played very well against Sharks, against KCB, and then against Posta Rangers. That tells you the lad is ready for big matches, and he proved it.
Listen, Rogers, I think I've followed the FC Leopard more than you think. And I will tell you, into that particular number, we have Washington Munene, who is also trading as a fullback 3.
How many matches has Munene played?
Allow me to prosecute my case. I've given you enough time.
Yes.
If at all, as in Anthony Kimani was just like any other coach who doesn't want to give this youngster a chance, he could as well as given Washington Munene. But he opted to give Lewis Bandi simply because he wanted the lad to prove himself.
Yes. One question,
and fair enough, when he was given that chance, just like any other player, when given a chance, you prove yourself and you are marked the special.
So now, Eshtemi, of course, now that we are speaking about youngsters making debuts and performing well, for Gor Mahia, Alpha Onyango also impressed yesterday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. I think this combination with Muguna has given more confidence, because you saw the way they was trying to string those passes, though the FC midfielder couldn't give them chance, more particularly in the second half when Fabrice maybe came in place, tried to come back to Sichenje's position and Mkangula came in. But so far, I think Alpha is one player who may be given time and given the confidence as well as the space to play, he will prove his worthiness in that green shirt, and maybe when time comes, he'll also wear the national team colors, because the lad has the quality, he has the passion, and he has that confidence. He has the energy in the legs to carry the ball and also give away those killer passes. Whenever he plays, I think, close to Muguna, that confidence, the confidence comes in just automatically. And from the matches they have played together, I think their combination have worked out very well. And that is why the coach, Manuel Vaz Pinto, has also maybe gotten that energy and confidence to continue fielding this youngster. Maybe him and Lewis Bandi, I think where I'm coming from, or rather from my end, those were maybe the star players for me in that Mashemeji derby.
Cedric, you are not impressed with Jules Ulimwengu yesterday. He was wasteful, and you said that this, I quote, because we were having this conversation before we got into studio, that had Gor Mahia had a good striker in the first half, they would have scored 2 goals.
I think the bold, as in the boringness of this particular derby was ultimately dependable on this bluntness of the strikers of the both teams.
Yes.
And on that particular note is where the likes of Jules Ulimwengu now comes in. Having given actually the mantle of a pinpoint striker, and also he was being supported by Kip Kirui, I saw him actually getting those chances that could have given, and as in Gor Mahia 3 point at the end of this particular battle.
Yes.
But him, with all those creativities that he was expected actually to cut this game, I don't know what was really happening. He could made some bluntly blind run, which would ended up of him actually losing those possession either to the opponent or even letting the ball roll out of the pitch. And at some point, I even was mad to Vaspino as per why he could not have substituted Jules that early, because going by what Gor has been producing from previous match, it is a team that is so strong on the bench.
Yes.
They had the likes of Tito Kelo at the bench,
yes.
the likes of Machari at the bench. Why was it that this guy actually was allowed to train for 60 minutes, and yet clearly from the first 45 minutes you could see a bleeding FC at the back. A bleeding FC to the essence that if Gor was to attack, you could actually see Gor as if it was going to get goals, but now that Jules were not the likes of Jules was not that clinical at the front of the goals,
yes.
those goals were not coming. This is a kind of a player who should have been substituted. And that's why at some points I liked Lugarusic when he was still managing Gor Mahia.
Yeah.
These are kind of coach who could substitute a player even barely 20 minutes within the match, simply because the player was not ready to bring the result that he was expecting for, or the player was not trading to the instruction that he has given them. And I think Jules yesterday was not trading to the instruction of Vaspinto, because if that was the case, he could have scored like 2 or 3 goals.
So, Shtemi, briefly, before we listen to what the captains had to say and what the coaches had to say, briefly, I want your intake on Elvis Rupia. Remember, he has scored 10 goals so far in the league, but yesterday it proved to be a difficult task against the defending champions.
Gor Mahia coach did his homework well. He knew Rupia's strength, and definitely that comes from the supply of the balls. And he ensured there was a cut-out of the supply of the balls from the midfielders, and there's nowhere Rupia could penetrate. You could see whenever he went for the ball, he could find maybe 2 green bodies there waiting for him. And the central defenders really did well. Maybe we should give credit to Andrew Juma and Charles Mmanyi. For the first time this season, I think they did a good job, because they couldn't allow Rupia to control the ball, or rather maybe to face the goal. So that literally killed off Rupia, and he couldn't become a threat to them. And on most occasions, once Rupia controlled the ball, they were already a marker from the Gor Mahia side. So kudos to Pinto and his technical bench members.
Now, of course, after the 90 minutes, FC Leopards captain, that is Robinson Kamura, said that they have a right to dream that this could actually be their season. Remember, the last time they defeated Gor Mahia was in 2016, and he said that the barren draw shows that they are making progress towards the right direction. Let's listen in.
Tungependa kushinda, but point moja si mbaya ukiangalia tumekuwa tukipoteza hizo misimu 4 zimepita. Ningesema ukiangalia kuchukua ligi kwa kirahisi, inafaa mnachukua game by game, na hizo tuna targets zetu kama club, but target yetu ni same kama ya club zote zingine, kubeba league. Hatutaki kuparticipate this season. Ukiangalia tunaonyesha na kwa mechi zetu tunajaribu kuchukua point 3 kwa kila game, na tunacheza game by game vile inaenda tu. So ikiwa positive tukipick point 3, ni timu kubwa inafaa inachukua point 3 kwa kila game. That's why inaitwa chui.
Of course, that is Robinson Kamura speaking yesterday after the two sides, that is Gor Mahia and FC Leopards, settled for a barren draw at the Kasarani Stadium. Cedric, I want your input. You've listened to what Kamura said. What do you make of his thoughts that right now FC probably he's headed in the right direction?
I liked the fact that he has now regained the confidence. Because initially you could see Kamura actually walking out of the field heads down, simply because of maybe the consequential loss that FC Leopard used to accumulate.
Yes.
But right now he can actually vividly tell you on your face that this is a leopard. And the essence of a leopard is to pick 3 points after each and every match.
Yes.
That's a kind of a confidence a captain should be bringing to a team. And if a captain can start speaking like that, it means that if holistically all that actually trickle to the entire playing unit, then FC Leopard will be ready to give the result that the fans are really yearning for.
Also, that is FC Leopards coach, Anthony Kimani, said that he was pleased with the point, but he was worried that they did not take the chances that came their way yesterday.
Nafikiri labda ukitizama safari ambayo tumekuwa nayo dhidi ya wapinzani wetu wa jadi, ni kwamba imekuwa ni safari ngumu. Imekuwa ni safari ambayo kila hatua ambayo tunapata lazima tukaweze kushukuru kwamba mechi ya kwanza ama mechi ya msimu ule mwingine tukaweza kupoteza kwa goli moja tu kwa 0. Hivi leo basi tumeweza kwenda sare. Basi inaonyesha tunakaribia mahali ambapo tunahisi kwamba tunastahili kukua na ni kuweza angalau kupata alama zote 3 dhidi ya wapinzani hawa wetu wa jadi. Nafikiri mechi nyingine ambayo inakuja labda tutaweza kupiga hiyo hatua, lakini nafurahi kwamba angalau tunapata alama moja. Imekuwa ni mechi ngumu kabisa, wameweza kupata alama, nafasi zao za kufunga, pia sisi vile vile tumeweza kupata zetu, lakini mwishowe basi imebidi tuweze kugawa zile alama. Kwa hivyo kwetu nafikiri tunashukuru sana kwa hiyo alama moja.
Anthony Kimani speaking after that tie yesterday at the Kasarani Stadium. Rogers Shtemi, I know we'll be coming back to talk about Modo leaving FC in a bit, but what are your thoughts on his comments?
I think he was really pleased with what he got yesterday. Remember, he was, I think, in that squad that last beat Gor Mahia in 2016. So for him getting a draw against Gor Mahia in his last day in the den, it should be just maybe in cloud 9. But from his tactical point of view, I think he somehow got everything right. Though maybe his strikers somehow they didn't maybe give him what he expected. But for the stay he has been in the den, I think he has done a good job. Because remember, on most occasions he has been an assistant coach, and then he comes in as the caretaker coach when the likes of Kasambungo left and then Trucha left. So good job, Modo. Wish you well on their next destination.
Of course, we'll be speaking about Modo in a bit. But after the barren draw yesterday, Gor Mahia coach, that is Vaz Pinto, said that he was not impressed with his strikers and not taking chances so that they could get the 3 points.
Always we play to win. I'm very happy about the first half especially. We play very well. We create good chances to score. In this type of game, if you get opportunities like today we have, we need to kill the game. We need to score and kill the game. Second half, we control the game. We create 1 or 2 situations, not a lot. But about today, I'm happy because the offensive organization was very good. And we improve a lot our defensive organization. If we think about the game, our opponent don't have one opportunity to score. I don't remember one clear chance to our opponent.
So Cedric Vaz Pinto says that he doesn't remember one clear-cut chance for FC in that tie, but also he questions the strikers that they should have buried the chances they had.
I liked the fact that actually he's clear in each and every point that he's saying, and he's actually picking it as in picking the clear scenario of what really happened in that particular derby. Those are the things that we have spoken about this particular derby. To the essence that FC Leopard was bland. There was not any clear chance that you could actually give them a goal. Gor Mahia gets like few, 2 or 3 chances that could have given them a goal, but they were not clinical in front of goal. And that's the kind of the coach that we really need in KPL. A coach who actually articulates the issues the way they are. And when maybe now that this was just round 9 in either of the side, it means they still have like a very long path along their route for them to be crowned. Then they need to go back. It's not all about FC Leopard. It doesn't mean that if FC wins gold, you have actually been crowned as the champions. They need to go back. They still have some lots of match ahead of them. Go correct those mistakes that actually he has seen there and start make now Gori forward line clinical, so that if they happen to play the likes of Sopapaka, the likes of Wazito, the likes of Nairobi Steamer, as in City Star,
Nairobi City Stars,
Nairobi City Star, those chances that they created against FC Leopard and you could not give them a goal, they now make them goals when they play these remaining teams.
Now, gentlemen, the end of that match yesterday, reports came out saying that Anthony Kimani has left FC Leopards. Of course, he was handling the Leopard on an interim basis, and reports the new coach reported to the Den last week, that is Patrick Osen, the Belgian. And we want to take a look at how Kimani has handled FC Leopards to where they are at the moment. Shtemi, we want to take a look at some of the games that Modo has handled FC Leopards. Remember, the first game was against Tusker. He was the assistant coach. Trucha was the coach. But after that tie, we'll be seeing, of course, the pictures of those games that Modo was in charge of FC Leopards. And he lost only 2 games, Shtemi.
Actually, his credibility was questioned when he lost those 2 matches against Western Stima and Wazito, because his critics were of the opinion that he didn't field a strong team, and maybe some of his tactics were not at par, and that is why FC Leopards ended up losing those 2 matches. Remember the Stima game, they conceded in the stoppage time 2 goals due to some erratic showing from the defense and the goalkeeper. And then you come to Wazito game. He was not tactically superior to Kimanzi, because Kimanzi came into that game with an intention of pressing them and pinning them into their own half. And exactly that happened, and that bore fruit to Kimanzi, because FC Leopards were erratic during that scenario, and eventually their former player Kevin Kimani managed to score against them. So generally, I think he has had a 50-50 affair in the den for the matches he has been in charge. And for him, maybe what I've got that he's planning to go to further his studies abroad. Let's wait and see. Maybe he's going to add more technique, more ability in his training, so that when he comes back, he'll be sharper, and any team that will take him, he'll be ready to do the job for them.
Now, of course, other reports indicated that FC Leopards will not be willing to let him go. They will reject his resignation, but now we have to wait and see how that transpires. But Cedric, let's take a look at what Kimani has done with AFC so far. Right now, of course, when you take a look at the standings, they are 3 points ahead of Gor Mahia. They lie 4th with 19 points. What is your take on all this?
He has been in a larger part of his trading career at FC Leopard has been operating the second to each and every coach that FC Leopard has hired. At some instance has been given an interim position to try and steer the team. But and again, when FC realized maybe the team was not really that oiled the way they would want it to be, they have been hiring another tactician to come and relegate Kimani to a second field. But that has not been the motto of FC. FC Leopard is not a team of fighting for top 4. FC Leopard is not a team of fighting for runners-up. Yes. This is a club that is all known to many, a club that should be running away with seasons after seasons. We have seen Gor Mahia actually accumulating this season simply because of this lapse and lack of consistency in terms of coaching at FC Leopard. And I think Kimani, for the last 8 matches that he has been tasked to trade at FC Leopard, he has been lucky, he has won. But I will tell you for free, FC has not been convincingly winning all those matches. FC has just been winning on a tactical basis, whereby some pundit will argue and maybe try to place me to a position whereby, but by the way, all we need is 3 points. It doesn't matter if you win ugly. But remember, a ball of soccer is all about entertainment. You forfeit your task to go and watch that particular match simply because 1, you want 3 points, then 2, you want to be entertained. That kind of entertainment has been lacking at FC Leopard. Those strings that we have been talking of, the strings of paths, the build-up of formation has been lacking in FC Leopard. Those utility angles that we have been looking for. For yesterday, we just watched a derby. If I may put a question onto your desk, Robbie, did you see any cross emulating from flanks? No. Where do you see a derby played for 90 minutes without cross coming from flanks? Which kind of system is that? Did you see FC stringing 3 to 4 passes accumulatively? No. They tried, and where they tried, if they were pushing for 2, they were giving away possessions. Those are not the kind of FC Leopard we want. We want FC Leopard that if it starts to build, it builds until it sides the game to the end of the opponent. Not the kind of FC Leopard that if it settled on a ball, it tried to string a pass. Sometimes even the ball control is not really working for them. Okay, He has done a good job at FC Leopard, and we accredit him. We accredit him for that particular good job. But then again, we also pray for him for all positive manners to whoever that he will be advancing his career to.
Now, gentlemen, I want us to move away because we're running out of time. I want us to move away from the Mashemeji derby. Let us take a stock of other games that were played over the weekend. And Simon Mwangi scored the only goal of the tie as KCB got a 1-0 win against Vihiga. Now, Shtemi, KCB are willing to go toe-to-toe with Tusker until the end of the season?
Great bounce back because Vihiga had really pushed them to the limit.
Yes.
And I think they went back to Western a very disappointed lot because they had a lot of chances. They were nearly scoring, but now the mentality in KCB couldn't allow them to do so. And I am also happy on how coach Zedeke approached that game. Once he saw things were not opening up at at KCB.
Yes.
Once he saw things were not opening up at the Vihiga defense, he had to bring in Simon Mwangi together with Victor Omondi.
Yes.
The two partnered well to Victor well controlled the pass from experienced defender, that is the former Sofapaka defender, and then he allowed it for Mwangi, who made no mistake to put the ball behind the net. And that was actually in the 82nd or 83rd minute, too late in the game, and they held on their nerves to ensure they remain with the 3 points in Nairobi. That mentality alone, Robbie, is really motivating for the coach and anybody involved in that team, because once you come from maybe a poor results, maybe they do against Ulinzi Stars, and here now they're winning against a very difficult Vihiga. It tells you these guys are not into this for a joke. They're in real business, and as they continue grinding out those results against difficult teams, their mentality is also continuing to grow.
So let's listen into what Zedekiah Zikotieno had to say after that tie that saw him bag maximum points against Vihiga.
When you come to the next game, more confidence, and this is not exceptional. I know our next match will be a very tough one against Nzoia at their home yard. But again, I think it's the same type of football we've played today against Vihiga that we anticipate to have when we are playing Nzoia. They are very physical teams. We knew it's not going to be easy. We knew they are coming to defend in numbers, but our boys were patient. We keep the ball around, and we knew before the end of the final whistle, we'll just have to score, because getting a goal doesn't take 1 minute.
Of course, that is Zedekiah Zikotieno saying that getting a goal doesn't take 1 minute. It's just a matter of seconds. As KCB got a 1-0 win against Vihiga United. Now, the other team that was in action over the weekend, Bandari, traveling all the way from Mombasa, they got maximum points against the KCB Sharks, a game that ended 1-0. The goal coming courtesy of William Wadri. So, Cedric, let's get into this tie. I know you are a fan of the way KCB Sharks play, but in this tie, they could have soaked in 4 goals.
They could, simply because they have adopted one system of play, which is so enticing to the eye, the system that I've traded for and I've been advocating for. It's good to watch them play. But and again, they need also to employ a room of tactical approach to a game, whereby if your system fails, you employ a plan B. I've said about this over and over in this particular show. If you watch Bandari playing KCB Sharks, Bandari was so keen not actually to surge, simply because they knew if they surge and leave spaces for the KCB Sharks, they will actually be inviting problems to their goal. And that's what they did. They allow KCB Sharks to start aligning this high line that they normally like playing when they are pushing. And they are trying to play those balls behind the defensive line of KCB Sharks. You see, for instance, in 20 minutes within the game, they could have scored through the same Wadri. Because they played the game behind the ball, Wadri got a snatch into that particular ball, but unfortunately, the ball did not hit the target. Similarly, the same goal that actually killed KCB Sharks was of the same style. And also, they have confusion at the defense. I don't know if it's all about communication. I don't know if because of the makeshift defenders they are playing, the likes of Olwande and Boniface Onyango, but they are not really gelling up. Muluya should come very fast and try to, maybe if he doesn't have actually what we say the strength on the bench, he should look for somebody who can really partner with either of the one at the center. That's where the communication is actually. They have very speedy wingers, the likes of Zachary, the likes of Mazembe.
You like mentioning them on this show, by the two of them.
Who are bringing players to this particular team.
Yes, and the good thing about them, Mazembe has been one of the players who have assisted most in the league. Cedric, you mentioned about Muluya. Let's listen in, before you continue with your thought, let's listen in to what that is Kariobangi Sharks coach William Muluya had to say about the loss.
Labda sisi wenyewe tulijitia kitanzi. Kwa maana tuliopatia kamba na wakatunyonga nayo. Naam. Labda kipindi cha kwanza tulikuwa tunachilia mipira kwa njia ambayo haikuwa nzuri. Kama labda tulikuwa tunataka kukaa na mpira zaidi, saa zingine inabidi muwe makini sana ili msiachilie. Sasa mimi nasema labda tumejitia kitanzi sisi wenyewe, lakini ni kwenda kurekebisha, kujaribu sasa kupata ushindi kwa mechi ambayo inakuja.
So Cedric, Muluya saying that Kariobangi Sharks are losing that tie, it was purely down to them. Briefly.
Good that he has acknowledged. That's what I've just said, alluded to some few minutes ago. Let them go back to the drawing board and try to rectify those particular areas. If they can come up with more formulas on how to winning formulas, I think they will start registering results.
Now, Bandari manager, on the other hand, Andre Kasambungo, said he was very happy to collect points against Kariobangi Sharks as they head back to Mombasa.
Mwenyezi Mungu akipenda itakuwa hivyo, lakini yote ni Mwenyezi Mungu, mimi yote nampatia Mwenyezi Mungu, lakini kwa amerudi ni vizuri, ni experience nyingine inajiongeza, na umeona na weather ilikuwa rahisi kupata nani, na leo tungeweza kufunga hata goli zaidi ya moja juu tuweza kupata situation 1-1 dakika za mwanzo hapo kipindi cha kwanza, lakini nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu na yetu tumepewa ni nzuri.
Of course, Andre Kasambungo speaking after that tie. Briefly, Rogers Shtemi, your take on this match?
Important win for Bandari. It's not easy for them to win away, but they managed to do so against Sharks, who have been blowing hot and cold. You know, most of us have put our money on Sharks, but their defensive lapses is really cost them. Remember, this is the type of goal they also conceded against FC Leopards, the one that Rupia scored. So they need to work out on their defense. But for Bandari, I think it is a team that is on the rise, because Wadri has been so instrumental since he joined this team. I think 4 years ago, he has the man who has been carrying this team on his shoulder, and he proved it against Sharks. That goal actually was absolutely magnificent, and whoever can score such type of goals in FKFPL needs I think, to be crowned something special.
Now, of course, you're talking about goal scorers, and briefly, Bidco United got a 2-0 win against Zoo. This is their third win of the season, and there's one man that has been finding himself on the scorer sheet, that is Gichum. What do you make of his performances so far and the goals that he scored?
A young boy from, I think, Division 2 last season, but on his debut in FKFPL, he is causing havoc across the defenders, and it is because of him that is why Bidco, I think, are now in top 10, because they have secured their third win of the season, and right now they are looking like a team to beat. Whoever is going to face Bidco, they need to watch out on this ladder called Githumo, because any chance he gets, be it in the box, at the edge of the box, long range, he'll punish the goalkeeper. So they're really also a really good team to watch. If you watch their matches, you will enjoy them.
So, Eric, very briefly, today, Madara United got a 1-0 win against Nzoia Sugar at the Kasarani Stadium. So are we going to see this sort of results for Coach Salim?
Hope so, because Madara, just like other big wings of this particular league, they shouldn't actually be fighting for relegation. It's a team that should be at either top 5, if not top 5, maybe at top 10. and again, going by the result that they have been registering, it has been
8 points from 8 matches played so far.
And those are kind of results that doesn't really augur well with the team of Mathara's magnitude. I think a win for them will have been a morale boost, and hoping maybe moving forward, they will start now picking points.
Yes, the other tie that was played on Monday afternoon saw Western Stima settle for a 2-all draw against Ulinzi. This tie was played at the Green Stadium in Kericho. Briefly, Rogers Eshtemi, as we wind up, did you expect Western Stima to hold Ulinzi to a 2-all draw?
No, never. I think Abdallah Juma is doing something at Western Stima, and it could be premature, but getting 2 away draws against former champions in Bandari and then Ulinzi Stars tells you this guy he has a mojo, and with time, or rather with the support he'll get from the Western Stima, maybe management, he can maybe try and push them out of the relegation zone. And as I have spoken before, I think at the moment in FKFPL, any win, any loss will have a huge impact on your stand on the table.
Oh, of course, gentlemen, as we wind up, there will be no football action coming, rather no FKFPL action coming up over the weekend. But on Wednesday, we do have 2 fixtures. Are you looking forward to see Sofapaka in action, Cedric? Having in mind that their last tie was a 1-all draw against Vihiga.
Yeah, I've also heard they are out, actually, they are out in the market, and they are trying actually to fill those areas they felt that they are actually not giving them results. And I think maybe by so doing Kalekwa will be morale boosting his playing unit. And will, moving forward, maybe will give Sofapaka the power that it has been lacking, and maybe start now registering results moving forward.
Of course, moving forward. Remember that tie will be played on Wednesday. Sofapaka taking on Zoo Kericho, and Mathare United will be taking on KCB Sharks. Eshtemi.
Slums derby.
Yes.
Very difficult to predict.
Yes.
Whoever makes his homework well, prepares the team very well, he can get the 3 points. But my prediction could be maybe a draw.
Could be maybe a draw. Mathare United taking on KCB Sharks on Wednesday, while Sofapaka host Zoo Kericho. Those are the matches that we are looking forward to on Wednesday. But remember, over the weekend, we will not be having the FKFPL matches. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Cedric Musumba and Rogers Eshtemi for giving us insights on what happened over the round 11 of the FKF Premier League right here on the FKFPL Review Show. That is where we call it a night. My name is Robinson Okenye. Have a good night.